Hi, this is John from Chicago, and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about going straight to digital instead of starting off with analog FPV and then switching over. I see a lot of people out there starting right off with DJI and not going into the analog first. The advantage of going into the analog first is you have less expense. You could get a system for under $230, say, that you could learn to fly FPV and see if you like the sport. And if you like it, you still have that analog system that you could fly tiny whoops with afterwards in the winter in the house. But more and more people are just going straight to DJI. I think you're looking at a system probably in the $900 to $1,000 range to get started. What I have here would be a great starter quad. This thing is really rugged. Yeah, it flies great. It's the GAB-RC Rocket Plus. I have the Plus one, which has the full-size air unit on, although I would probably recommend the light. It would be a little bit lighter weight. So that would be the quad that I'd recommend. The goggles, I'm not sure what the V2s are going for. I think around $600. And then I like using a standard radio instead of DJI. The DJI radio is $300, where this one, the jumper T-Lite, is $76. So for around $900, $1,000, you could get a starter system. So you're out a little bit more money, but what you're getting is quality where you don't have to upgrade in the future. These goggles will probably be good for several years. They have the new V2s that have just come out several months ago. Not a big change from the V1s to the V2. That surprised quite a few people, but they should be good for a while. The other thing is the quad. I don't think this is one of the most rugged ones out. You can take the hoops off of here and put a little bit bigger props on it, and it'll fly really fast and good, but this is great for starting off with. And the radio, as I said, it takes an extra receiver to be put into the quad. Let's see, I think I got it right in there. It's a little tiny rectangular board, and you put that in with the two antennas coming out here instead of using the stock antennas. So you have to add something to use one of these. The receiver is about a $15 XM Plus that I put in there, but you could save several $100s on the radio. The DJI radio is $300, where this radio is $76. People are going direct to DJI to get started in FPV because they might be familiar with the DJI brand name. They might have a camera drone or have seen camera drones fly before, and the DJI products are available at many local stores, Best Buy, Amazon, and many others. DJI is also a good brand, and they have a lot of designers. So the design you're getting is all ready to go, and it's easier, I think, to learn than to learn beta flight, and all the different aspects of analog flight. And also the other big reason is your view and your goggles. It's a lot better. Right now you're seeing the DJI goggles view going around my little playground track, and I'll switch over to the analog view. The analog view is still good. These are, but it's not anywhere near as good. Step in running or learning to fly FPV is to get on a simulator and actually try the simulator. There's 4 of them out there that I recommend, and I will list those in the description below on where to get those. The second step is actually flying, and it's line of sight. And it's just to get used to the radio and the movements of the radio to the hand-eye coordination. The actual radio itself, the controls, the left hand is your throttle here. That's full throttle, low throttle, and then left and right is your rudder. It'll just rotate the quad horizontally. Then your right stick is like the stick on an airplane. You have forward and back and left and right. Then on top you have your 4 switches. I have the buzzer, which is this one. And then this one here is flip over after crash, and this is your mode. I have angle mode, so it's self-stabilizing right now. If I flip it up, it's an acro, and this little switch down here is my kill switch, or it's my arm and disarm switch. So to start this off, you're going to want to have your throttle all the way down, and then you turn the arm switch on. So it's now spinning. And we'll try to lift it off. And what you want to try to do is just stay over this carpet. I like learning line of sight indoors. You want at least 10 feet across, an area 10 feet, so you're not hitting any furniture. And the first several batteries, you're doing nothing but trying to fly over the carpet. And once you get that down, you could start to go a little bit left, a little bit right, and forward and back, and trying to do a couple movements at once. But the first step is just to learn to hover. After, say, 3 or 4 batteries, each battery lasts anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, we actually start to do a little bit of walking behind it, and it's called walk the dog. This is similar to a flying FPV, in that you're behind it, so whatever way you steer, it lines up because you're behind the quad. It's like you're in the cockpit here. So this is the first step, would be to learn to hover and walk behind it with motion. So after a couple of batteries of walking the dog, then you'd be ready for flying outdoors. But it's just small movements on your throttle to hover this. It's and your sticks. There's nothing big. It's if you move it too big, it'll move fast, then you won't be able to control it. When you're ready to land, just get it a couple feet above and just disarm, and it will drop. So that's line of sight. Our next step would be to actually go outside and try FPV. The third step is actually learning to fly FPV, and I set up a little course here today. I have the quad on a piece of cardboard. I have a ball out there about 60 feet. Go over here, another 60 feet, and back again to the cardboard. So I'm just going to fly around these. The wind is coming toward me, so I want to go into the wind. The other thing to note is there's no trees near me. You want to get someplace clear so you're not going to get stuck up in a tree. So first step, I'm just going to arm the quad, fly out a few feet, and disarm it. So this is my arm button right here. I arm it. Quite windy today. Just fly over here and disarm. So you need to know how to stop. So if you get in trouble, you just pick up the quad and do this again. Okay, now we're going to fly out to the first ball. You want to do this on a low wind day. So I made the ball. What we try to do is just go around the course here. Make the turn. It's a yaw turn. Yaw turn again. Whoa, got some wind. Shut it off. If you get in trouble, just shut it off and go get the quad. Let me set her back on the box. I'm continuing to go around the course in a counterclockwise direction. We will do this for the first couple batteries. And just to keep things simple, the less you try to do, the slower you try to do things, the better off you're going to be. You probably will end up hitting the ground and having to stop a few times and come back and put the quad on the cardboard and try again. There's nothing wrong with that. So what you want to do is keep on flying so you get to a point where you could go around the course, the triangle or the square, without having to stop. Once you get to that point, you can turn around and start to go the other direction. I guess I'm still going around the course here, but I'll get to a point after a couple batteries you can turn around and go the other way. Right now we're just doing simple yaw turns. We're using the rudder. I'm ruddering left, and that just rotates. There we're going back. I over-rotated, so I went back to the start. Nothing wrong with that, and then going back to the ball. But what you want to do is try to keep on track and just continue to go around the course. Here I'm going the opposite direction. After a few batteries, you want to go clockwise also, so you're not always turning the same direction. The other thing you can work yourself up to is a figure eight. You go around the ball and come back and just keep on doing a figure eight. That might be battery number 5 to 7 or 8 is trying figure eights. Once you get everything down good, so you feel comfortable that you could stay in the smaller course, especially if you have somebody watching you, you could start to fly around the field a little bit and get a little bit more than the 60 feet away. I would still limit yourself to maybe 100 to 200 feet away, because you're going to probably end up crashing, and you need to go find it and bring it back again to start. But maybe just go out to the ball diamond here and then come back, and eventually after maybe 5-6 days of this, you could actually go around the path that I was flying around and getting a little bit closer to trees. But you do want to watch out for trees, because they're a magnet and they're really pulling you in. So now the big question that I have for you, or the elephant in the room, is if you're spending about $1,000 on a DJI system, do you want to go up and spend $1,300 and get the new DJI FPV drone? The FPV drone is the latest and the greatest. It has a lot of technology in it. It could fly for 10 kilometers away. It has avoidance, so instead of hitting something, it'll keep your quad so many feet off the ground, and if it's coming up to a tree, it'll stop before the tree. So it has a lot of aids to teach you how to fly, so you're just really getting used to just looking out and seeing what's going on and flying FPV without worrying. The problem that I have with that is the quad is fairly, it's not as robust as this one here. If you hit a tree going fast, it's going to break, and it's going to cost several $100s to fix. You can buy a package, a care package, that'll fix it twice for $300. That lasts, I think, a year. It might be 2 years, but still, I think to learn FPV, you have to be able to crash, and crash a lot. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave those below. And this is John from Chicago, and thanks for watching.